When you've been seriously injured, the whole legal process can feel like it's dragging on forever. But your life, that doesn't stop. The bills, the mortgage, all those medical expenses, they just keep coming. So we're going to talk about that disconnect and the legal tool that exists to help you through it.
This really just says it all, doesn't it? The moment an accident happens, the financial hit can be instant. But that compensation, the very thing that's supposed to make you whole again, well, that could be years down the road. It's a really tough spot to be in.
And this isn't just some abstract idea. We're talking about real-world stuff. You've got lost earnings, which is a huge deal if you're the main person bringing money in. Then you've got unexpected medical bills and maybe even care costs piling up. And all the while, your normal household bills just keep rolling in, right on schedule. That pressure is immense.
So yeah, that's the big question, right? How are you supposed to keep your head above water financially while your case makes its way through the system? Well, the good news is the law actually has an answer for this exact problem.
And that answer is something called an interim payment. The best way to think about it is like an advance on your final compensation. It's not bonus money, let's be clear about that. It's a part of your final settlement, just paid out early to act as a financial lifeline when you really need it.
Okay, so the big question is, can you actually get one? It's not something that happens automatically. There are a few specific boxes that need to be ticked before a court will even consider it. So let's break down what those are. Now this is a big one, so listen up. You can only apply for an interim payment after your case is officially in the court system. In fact, if you're in a really tight spot financially, your solicitor might actually push to get the court action started sooner, specifically so you can get access to this option.
So once the case is live, the court is going to look for a few things. First up, has the other side just straight up admitted that they were at fault? If yes, great. If not, then the court needs to be pretty convinced that you're going to win your case in the end anyway. And third, they need to be sure there's no counterclaim from the other side that could just wipe out whatever you're awarded.
All right, let's talk about the money. This is the question everybody asks. How much can you actually get? And it's really important to manage your expectations here, because it's not going to be the full value of your claim.
So in most cases, you're looking at a payment that's somewhere in the ballpark of 50 to 70% of a conservative valuation of your final award. And that word conservative is really key here.
You might be asking, well, why not more? It's all about creating what they call headroom. The court deliberately builds in this safety buffer to make absolutely sure the advance you get doesn't end up being more than your final settlement. It's a safeguard, really, to protect you from the nightmare of having to pay money back.
Okay, so let's say you're eligible and you've got a rough idea of the amount. How do you actually get the money? Well, there are basically two ways this can happen.
The first route, and the one everyone hopes for, is a voluntary payment. This is where your solicitor and the insurer just negotiate and agree on a payment. It's faster, it's simpler, and it usually happens when the other side is being pretty cooperative. But if they refuse to pay, or you can't agree on an amount, then you move to Route 2. Your solicitor makes a formal application, it's called a motion, to the court to force the payment.
All right, let's fast forward now. You've got an interim payment, months have passed, and your case is finally coming to an end. How does that advance you received affect the final number you get?
The math is actually super straightforward, so let's just run through a quick example to see exactly how it works.
Okay, let's imagine your claim settles for a final total figure of £150,000. That's the full value.
Now, from that total, you simply subtract the interim payment you already got. In our example, we'll say that was £40,000. So the final amount that you'll be paid when everything is signed and sealed is that full amount minus the piece you already received, which leaves you with a final payment of £110,000. See? It's that simple. The interim payment was just an early part of your total award. So let's just quickly recap the four main things to take away here. 1, it's an advance, not extra cash. 2, you can only get it after court proceedings are underway. 3, it's an absolute lifeline for covering living costs and rehabilitation. And 4, you can get it either through a friendly agreement or by going to the court. Look, if you're feeling that financial squeeze while your claim is going on, the biggest thing to remember from all of this is that you might have an option you didn't know about. The system is there to help. So the only real question left is it time for you to have that conversation?